Hello, folks, and welcome to Examining Blended. I guess you call it Examining Blended Scotch Whisky. So, what we're doing tonight, or I'm doing, if other people join me, it'll be what we're doing examining blended Scotch Whisky, not the concept of it or the idea of it. It's just various blended Scotch Whisky brands, you understand, which is where they take about 80% grain whiskey, which is aged at least 3 years, but it's sort of odorless, colorless, kind of bland, not much flavor. But then they blend in about 20% single malt. Could be Speyside, Isla, Highland, Lowland, Campbelltown, Jura. They're blending in single malts to give it the flavor. Similar concept to American blended whiskey, except American blended whiskey will allow unaged spirits, unaged. Not allowed in Canada, Ireland, or Scotland. I don't know about Japan because I haven't studied too carefully Japanese blended whiskey, or India, in the country of India, in the Republic of India. Don't know. Yep, we made it to Wednesday. Same back to you. All right, so tonight I have a blended Scotch whiskey that is not exactly popular or well known, but it is around. It's called King Robert II Blended Scotch Whisky. And I never could find out when it was introduced. I know that the parent company, Ian McLeod, it says right there, see right there, it says Ian McLeod Distilling Limited. They bought it in 1968. So they bought this brand of liquor in 1968, which is telling me it was around before 1968, right? So there's King Robert II, a famous Scottish king who has nothing to do with this product. All right, this is a big handle glass bottle. It was on sale at World of Beverage in Georgia. I was with John and Neely. It was $17.99, and I bought it. That's a good deal. Now, whether it's any good, that remains to be seen. Here's Sir Blendelot.
Sir Blendelot.
Sir Blendelot. Okay.
Sir Blendelot be blending all kinds of whiskeys,
Yeah, you know what's funny?
Scotch whiskeys from Scotland.
Hey, you know what's funny?
I have the blended one.
I saw the high rye. I saw a McCormick blended Scotch whiskey yesterday, and it was in a plastic bottle.
Oh, jeez. How much do they want for that?
I didn't check, but it was, I said, plastic. I said to myself, plastic.
McCormick. Right. I
got
that around here.
Yeah, you got the glass, though.
Oh, you can still get it. You can still get glass. You got this one.
And the plastic was at the south.
Just notice. Just as your government's not going to lie to you, any one of these makers of this stuff will not lie to you at all. And they will put things in plastic because we all know that consuming beverages, consuming foods in plastic is healthy for you.
Yep, that's true.
It's true. It's so true.
I believe in plastic.
Consuming all plastic.
All right, so you have, and we're about to add beverage ramble. What do you have tonight? You have the Johnny Walker High Rye.
High Rye blended Scotch whiskey. This is 45% alcohol per volume. Distilled and blended, bottled in Scotland.
Yeah, and that's the like six. It's like 60% rye.
Yeah. Let's just stick to the whiskeys. Let's go all over the place about kicking a can around about a nickel or something like that. Let's just talk about the whiskeys, okay?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about the whiskey. Okay.
It says nose is sweet wood spice. What's going on, Jean?
What's going on, Dave? What's going on, Mr. T?
Oh, yeah. Doing well.
I got Johnny Walker tonight as well. I got the miniature size Johnny Walker Red Label.
Ooh, Johnny Walker Red. You chose wisely. Oh, awesome.
Yes. Let me do my research. I'm trying to find info on this. Stand by.
It's okay. You can stand by. I'm still in the middle of mine. So this is high rye. High rye. What is high rye? It means it's got rye added to it. It's a rye whiskey infused in with the Scotch whiskey. We don't know if this is like some kind of a Scotch rye or if it's just rye.
That's what it is.
All over the place. Yeah, but it says it's blended and bottled in Scotland.
Right. So it's a blended Scotch whiskey, but the majority of the grain is rye, which is totally allowed.
Okay. Yeah. So it says it's a rich and rounded blend of whiskeys crafted from rye, barley, and wheat, married with the finest single malts. Okay, so you should get a green apple, rich toffee, and dried clove. Finish is dry rye spice. Whiskey makers are George Harper and Jim Beveridge.
Oh yeah, Jim Beveridge. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Now you know it's funny. Now Claude was the person that came up with this idea, so Claude better join. Right.
See no Claude.
No Claude. All right. So
The red label, 40%, 80 proof. So
yeah, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring up the red. So I have this big glass bottle. And it's
the Winn-Dixie stuff.
I thought about it, but I didn't want to perpetuate that on y'all. I'm bringing King Robert II.
That's a good one. I enjoy that one. Very affordable.
I found this in Georgia at a place called World of Beverage.
Yes. What part of was it in World of Beverage? Here in Dunwoody, or you had to go all the way out to Duluth?
It was southwest of Atlanta, on the way back from Atlanta, between Atlanta and Noonan, Georgia.
Duluth, is that where they make the underwear for the fat guys?
Huh.
In Duluth?
Yeah.
Like some kind of underwear maker called Duluth.
I think World of Beverage has many locations, but it's off of Interstate.
It is.
Off of Interstate 85, I think. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I know where that is. I think, yeah, I know. And before you leave the state of Georgia, there's a big liquor store right there in Georgia before you get to Alabama. Very affordable.
Yeah, I went to that one, and I had a chance to buy a unique product, and I passed on it, and I feel like an idiot because I never saw it again. All right, so I'm pouring King Robert II. Well, what I saw was Lord Calvert Black, which you can't find that. All right, anyway, so King Robert
is Lord Calvert Black. Is that a Scotch? Is that a Canadian whiskey?
Canadian whiskey, right?
Yeah, Canadian whiskey, and it's the Lord Calvert Black, and I just didn't buy it. I felt stupid.
Is it like Black Label or something? Black something? Sorry, I got something popping up on my calendar.
I don't really know what it was, but I should have bought it. You know. All right, so I'm going to do a screen share. So here's King Robert II blended Scotch whiskey. We'll talk about the Kings. And you can read about this king. He was the actual king of Scotland. It's not a made up. Well, I mean, it's made up because he had nothing to do with this whiskey. It says King Robert II blended Scotch unites whiskeys from the islands, highlands, lowlands, and Speyside, but no Isla, in a rich, slightly smoky, second to none dram. Oh yeah,
that means it's cheap if they don't put Isla in it.
Second to none. So they got a black label, which is what I have. They have the 12-year-old green label, and there's a 15-year-old purple. I've never seen those two, but I know those are not going to be $17.99. So I have the trouble cask age. It's aged in 3 different types of casks. I'd like to try the 12 and the 15, but I don't think I'll see them. There's an old castle, and then there was a video about how awesome the
dude walking in a skirt.
Yeah, and a kilt. And
skirt.
Now available in the USA. Yeah, it was 6 years ago. So they also make, just show y'all real quick, they also make King Robert II gin, in case you want to get your gin on. There's King Robert II rum, dark and white, dark and clear. And then there's King Robert II vodka. So as you can see, it's a whole line of stuff. All right. So that's what I got to show. It's pretty golden looking. It's golden amber. So it looks like typical Scotch. Now we're going to jump over to the big company, the famous company, Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker, the number one selling Scotch in the world.
Exactly. Introduced in 1867. 1867.
I'm not showing the blue label. Mine's green. I don't have the black label either. None of us do. High rye, there it is. Click. Click on high rye.
All right, here we go. Here we go, y'all.
Johnny
Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to read it, go ahead.
You can't read. That's like zero font.
All right, I'll read it. An inspired new taste waiting to be uncapped. It's been on the market about
I could have read that.
a mastery of blending to create a bold new offering that tempts palates with revolutionary taste profile that can only be born from the powerful blend of Johnny Walker Black Label. Okay. Blend of Johnny Walker Black Label and rye whiskey flavors. Johnny Walker High Rye is 60% rye, aged in American oak, and includes notable single malts from the distilleries such as Cardew, an important part of Black Label flavor. The result is a balance of sweet vanilla notes and the spiciness of rye that become revealed through subtle whiffs of warm smoke. So it's 45% alcohol. The smell is sweet wood, spice, fresh cut fruit, creamy vanilla, green apple, rich toffee, and dried clove in the taste. And the finish is,
Do I get to talk about the whiskey? Or you
yeah, hold on. Dry rye spice balanced with slight sweetness.
Going to take over? I don't know why we did this if you just take over.
Now, since we're on this, let's go to the red label so we can get that out the way for Jean. Let's see, the red label.
I was going to read it when it was my turn, but you know.
You can read it, Jean. You can read it, Jean. Go ahead.
Anything. Just
Let Dave do his thing. Let Dave do his thing.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Your thing, Dave.
I don't want to now.
I gotta go get one. I'll be back.
All
All
right. Go ahead, Dave. Do your thing.
High rye. What Jay said. Tastes good. Enjoy.
No, give your description. Do your analysis.
There's nothing else to say. Somebody took over my review.
No, I was reading the description on the channel, on the
On
website.
and on and on about some of the stuff I was going to say. But, so now there's nothing to say.
Always, never a dull moment.
Sweet, peppery.
Of us together.
Yeah, it is a cross between rye whiskey and Johnny Walker. There's a sweet note to it. I'm not getting any vanilla like it says in this. Getting a little wood finish. Kind of I don't get the vanilla. I don't get this green apple either. There's a little toffee. There's, I guess, some kind of clove or something like that. Yeah, but it's definitely rye predominant. So it's very good. It's balanced. It doesn't offend the palate in any kind of a way. So I would recommend it. Good stuff. That is it.
I'm looking forward to trying it. Now, Jean, you want to look at the website there?
So tonight, hello, Robert, Mr. T, Dave,
Hello, Rob.
everyone watching North America and throughout the world. I have the miniature bottles of the Johnny Walker Red Label, 40% ABV. Let me go ahead and read what I'm going to read. Discover the bold and vibrant flavors of Johnny Walker Red Label, the world's best-selling blended Scotch whiskey. Made for mixing, this premium whiskey adds a fiery kick to any cocktail or social occasion. with its exquisitely crafted blend of specially chosen whiskeys. Red Label delivers an intense and unforgettable taste experience. So, this has a smell, fresh citrus fruitness, which I didn't get any of that when I poured it. Bursts of black pepper and cinnamon. I'm definitely getting a little of that black pepper. And it does have a smoky finish to it. So a little smoke to this. So do I come back and we do our tasting and all that?
We'll come back. And then one thing, if you look at the back of the big bottle, it says it's aged 3 years.
Hey, John, I got a question. Don't you find sometimes that when you taste the whiskeys after reading what they're supposed to have, that most of the times it only has like half of what they say?
I agree. Yeah, I do.
It's like, and then in some rare cases, you may discover some other new flavor comes out of it that you weren't expecting.
With bourbon, same way with Kentucky bourbon, like they say it has this, but I'm getting more of that taste or more of that.
I mean, oddly enough, we're both doing a Johnny Walker tonight, 2 different Johnny Walkers, but I felt the same as you did. You know, when I read all the things you're supposed to taste it, and I'm like, I'm only tasting half of that.
Right.
And this is really rye forward. Yeah. Where'd you find that?
Where I find everything in the liquor store.
It's a nice old school bottle.
Well, they
looks like it's like a couple of years, you know.
Yeah, used cabal makes a lot of different. Not a lot. They make one that's usually about $200, between 170 and $200 where you go. It's like a 20-some-year-old blend of Scotch. It comes in a little bitty porcelain bottle with its own strange topper. It's usually at Christmas time they show up. I didn't even know they made a normal bottle. I always thought that's all they ever made for blended Scotch. And then they do make this, and then I got a 15-year-old I found up in Kansas City. I found this one in a little town in western Kansas, Coldwater, Kansas.
The age statement on that bottle that you're presenting?
There's no age statement because it is a blended.
Is there a de facto age statement if it's not listed like Kentucky whiskeys are?
Well,
at least 3 years. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
So a little of the blurb on. Let me pour it first.
What's the ABV? I'm sorry, Robert. What's the ABV?
The ABV is 43%.
Okay, and you said you bought it by Kansas City?
No, the 15-year-old version. I got a 15-year-old bottle of this. I bought at Kansas City. This one was bought in not Coldwater, some Springs, Kansas.
Baxter Springs?
No, that's west. This is west, way west. Give me a second. I'll tell you where I bought it at.
I also have another random question for all those tasters tonight. Have y'all noticed that the younger whiskeys have more of a bold presence, more flavor notes than the ones that are aged and supposedly refined down?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
I'd have to think about it, but I'd have to experience it more. I don't have enough experience really with the long age. Well, that's very interesting, Robert. I've never heard of Usquoy Bach.
Usquoy. Pronounced Usquoy. Oh, let me see. There's Colby, Oakley, South Goodland. What's that little town? Sharon Springs. Bought this at a little liquor store in Sharon Springs, Kansas.
Robert, have you tried the higher year statement of this whiskey?
No, I've never bought the porcelain one there, the old rare. I've never bought that. I've seen it. That's usually 150, 200. I have seen the cast strength one too in Kansas City as well.
Oh, I was confused. You were kicking around a couple $100 when you started this, so that's why I was
not this one. This one was only $45.
In regards to age statements and whiskeys.
Yeah, this one was only $45. The porcelain one, the old rare that he showed originally, that's like 170, $200. Then the blue one, I've actually seen the blue bottle one up there too, and they want like a little over $200 for it if I remember correctly. I don't remember what I paid for the 15. I'd have to look at it, but it probably was only about $60. I would guess.
What style of Scotch whiskey is this?
This is just a blended Scotch whiskey. It doesn't have
So it's whatever
Really?
they feel like putting into it.
right.
Send it out.
It says here. I'll just read a little bit of the blurb on the back, which is going to match what's there. Tradition, history, and heritage are all part of the Usquebaugh Reserve. Hand-selected, mature casks from our bottlers' private reserves compromises high-quality premium Scotch. This is a rare blend of whiskeys aged 16, 17, and 18 years combined with younger malts for a complex and rich Scotch whiskey, uncompromising quality. Now, it doesn't really say the marriage of the reserve whiskeys offered layered hints of honey, sherry notes, and a very long finish is rounded by sweet spices.
So that's at least a 16-year-old that you're.
No. It says with younger malts. So we don't know.
So but they have some 16, 17, and 18, but maybe some younger ones. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mixture of them all.
Also, Jake, could you just go ahead and next time everyone wants to read from a website, blow up the font like you just did with this one?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate it.
anyway, and everything I said here is pretty much what was on his one there. This is a different section of it, I think. But it's just they're just a blender. Cobalt Brands LLC, the registered trademark of that, which is Manhasset, New York. It's a product of Scotland. It doesn't really give anything in Scotland. It does have L16 on the bottle under /6323. So the L16, I will tell you, means 2016. I know that much. So this was bottled in 2016.
Okay.
So, and it makes sense because the little liquor stores out in Western Kansas, a lot of times this stuff doesn't sell and they just hold on to it forever. Everybody goes in there for their Jack Daniels Jim Beam kick, and nobody really wants to. I mean, you're dealing with just mostly all farmers out there, so they're not really too interested in refined palates per se.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Jaystown. It's a Bud Light area.
That's true.
Even after the debacle, it's still a Bud Light area. You can attest. You work at that grocery store. You can
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true.
And this is the first time.
Bud Light as far as beer sales go.
This is the first time I've had it, so this is all as new to me as anything else.
Hey,
What
have you
else?
noticed that the Bud Light sales have they bounced back?
A little bit, but not where they were. No.
What do you test that to? You test that to people getting used to other, or they just butthurt over that?
Went to other brands and thought they were pretty good and cheaper and just angry about it overall. Yeah, but it's mostly come back, but not what.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but it's come back a little bit.
So why do you think people get angry over something they can't control?
Well, they can control it. They can control what they buy. You see, they can control it with their choice of purchasing.
That's not really controlling the situation.
Well, it is in a way, because if the company gets hurt, they have to respond.
That's not controlling. That's just a boycott.
I know. I said in a way.
So, okay, where are we at on this?
Well, we're going to go back and do the tasting, so I'm going to come back. All right. So, yeah, it just never occurred. David's right. It never occurred to me that I could blow it up big, Like just now, it just occurred to me tonight that I can make it big so people could read it.
Font on the website.
I know. I just
arrow up, pull an arrow up.
There was
now I know. Now I know I can do it. Oh, look at
that was
that.
the price I paid for it.
$45.15.
That's with tax. Most of the time out there, that price is includes tax.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to give a description of this. It's not exactly a super popular product, but it's around and exists. I bought it in Georgia, so I figured, what the heck? It's from Ian McLeod. Ian McLeod Company is more like they get stuff made. I don't know if they actually own any distilleries. I get the impression that they do not. They just bottle stuff, what they would call an independent bottler. sort of like Pabst Brewing Company with beer. They don't really make beer, but they own the rights to it. So, well, whatever. It hits the shelves and you can buy it or pass it over. All right, so well, Johnny Walker doesn't really make anything. They just buy stuff and blend it and sell it. Okay. As you can see, it's amber gold. What is a good inexpensive Scotch whiskey to try? Well, this is one right here, King Robert. Although you may have trouble finding it, you might want to get. Don't listen to that. Or don't pay any mind to those gestures. You could buy Johnny Walker Red Label as Jean is bringing.
Black.
Or the black, a little bit more money. All right, so the aroma.
I can get King Robert pretty easily here.
The aroma here is there's a little honey and cereal grain, like old people cereal at the box at the grocery store on the top shelf, like Special K or Bran Flakes or
Grape nuts.
Grape nuts would be a good example.
Raisin bran.
Yeah, smokiness, nah, just sweet grain. All right, taste. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So there is a little peatiness, like a compost pile. Then there's the sweet grains. Really, the sweet grains are predominant. Then you get the peatiness, like I said, the compost pile. Then there's a touch of smoke, and I mean a touch. Like it's 98% not smoky, but it's maybe 2% smoky. But that tiniest little pinprick, it's a little pinprick of smoke. Okay, the body's medium. And the finish is, well, mostly dry, maybe 60-40. 60% dry, 40% sweet. Is it a fabulous product? No, which is probably why the handle was $17.99 on sale. Is it repulsive and off-putting and nasty and all of those things? No, it isn't. I don't agree with that. I think when you get on the website and their first statement is about all the cocktails you can make, that's telling you something.
Yeah.
But then the website says, yeah, but the website's saying, but you could get the 12-year age or you can get the 15-year age. And those are going to be a lot pricier. They're not going to be $17.99 for a handle. So it's an introductory. It's been on the market for at least 56 years, but it's been on the market longer than that because that's when Ian McLeod bought it. They bought it in 1968, so it was around before. We don't know who had it. Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't recommend giving it as a wedding gift, but if you're having a party, like you're playing cards, like a card playing party, and people want to drink some stuff, yeah, it's something like that. Or watching an NFL game or a Major League Baseball game, yeah. But to sit there and say, oh, we're going to really deep dive Scotch tonight, I don't think that's what you would bring. But yeah, it's enjoyable to an extent, and I like it, and I'm generally favorable towards it, although I'm not in adulation of it.
Okay.
And I'll give a score in a little bit.
I got a question. What does a compost pile taste like? You mentioned that in your descriptions as you were tasting it.
I know it just smells like what a compost pile would smell like rotting organic matter.
So you tasted rotting organic matter?
Yeah.
I think I would want to do that.
I did as a kid, I know.
That'd be
Wasn't on purpose, but I just stuck shit in my mouth all the time.
I ate dirt once. I'll spit it out.
I ate dirt more than once. You ride a dirt bike, BMW dirt bike.
Yeah, I'm thinking you experiment just a little too much more than you want to give yourself credit for.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right, Tommy. All right, now overall assessment of this, and then we'll come back to the score in a minute.
Tonight we're looking at Johnny Walker High Rye. This gets an overall rating on Total Wine & More. It's also priced in their store. This is running about $35 a bottle. It's a 90% alcohol per volume liquor.
90 proof. 90 proof.
Yeah, it supposedly has all kinds of notes that I'm not tasting. There is a little you get it's rye forward, and it's what it tastes like, and it's got the Johnny Walker backbone on it. As far as like barley, I'm not really getting barley. It says it's finest single malts. I guess that's the smoothest that's coming through with it. But as far as like creamy vanilla, I'm not getting that. I don't get any vanilla in this at all. It says fresh coat fruit. It doesn't say what kind of fruit. If I had to guess, I would say that they're probably putting the regular green label in this, which would have a bit of an apple tone to it. That's barely there. Sweet wood spice. Okay. Dry ride spices. Yes. It gives a serving size and all that. Yeah. You can drink this. Shot and a half, 110 calories, 0 carbohydrates, 0 fat, and 0 protein. Basically, alcohol. So it does taste good. It's a pleasant product. It's very clean. Like if you drink any other Johnny Walkers, you get this like kind of like wash effect to it, almost like Scotch. I mean, like Irish whiskeys, what are just like real clean. Yeah, it just tastes like Johnny Walker mixed with rye.
Do you think it's worth the money?
How much does red cost?
The red, you can get a whole handle of red for $36.
Well, the answer to that question is no.
Okay, well, gotta call it as you see it.
Hold
I
on.
mean, $35 for a Johnny Walker that tastes like rye. I mean, it's a novelty. You try it, yeah, it's good. I like it. Price wise, not really. If it was $20 a bottle, it'd be worth it. This is about a $20, maybe an $18 bottle. $35. I think that's a little highway robbery on this. I mean, you can get same size red for $20, can't you?
23, yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker. Okay. So it should be priced the same as red, I would think.
Oh yeah, no way that's
This is
gonna happen.
priced the same as Black Label. And Black Label's premium Johnny Walker, which I've had, and it's pretty good. You get that really like bold whiskey flavor out of it. This is kind of subdued. And I don't know if it's the rye that's doing it or what. Usually when you have rye in a whiskey, it's usually bold and flavorful. This is kind of washed down some.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Would
to hear
you
that.
buy this again, Dave? Would you buy it again?
At a discount, I would. Not at full price. And I'm not saying it's washed down because I'm drinking water. I'm just thirsty.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Yeah, try, Sean. If you see the little bottle, go ahead and pick it up, man. You tell me what you think.
We're at the red label I'm drinking tonight, as I described what it is. I'm not going to read what it says. Again, 40%. This says the smell of fresh citrus, burst of black pepper and cinnamon, and long lingering smoky finish. Now, since I've been sipping on this, I prefer Scotch with ice. I'm not one to drink it straight a lot of times. Rub a little bit of something on ice on the rocks would be perfect. But since I've been sipping on this like this so far while y'all guys been chatting, I've got the aroma of that fresh citrus, but it's really underlined. But I definitely get the burst of black pepper and definitely has a smoky finish to this. So beautiful colors you can see. Johnny Walker, of course, is a tried and true brand. That's Americana, Johnny Walker. So there you go. Cheers.
That's great that you're getting smoke. I didn't get any smoke on mine. It already peaked. It was just
Maybe could be that. Is that peak finish? So again,
no. Maybe it's my rye was just overpowering the peak.
definitely the burst of black pepper is in this for sure. Again, smell of the citrus, but none of that citrus fruitiness. And it mentioned cinnamon. Maybe it's there, maybe underlined, but that burst of black pepper really comes out, and you get, as you said, maybe that peat. But I'm definitely getting a smoky finish as it goes down. If I put ice in this, I don't know. Maybe the flavor might change a lot. So, yeah, it's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful product, and it lists all the cocktails that it does. Again, seeing Johnny Walker everywhere is always the three labels. The one I would say that's reasonably priced is the red label. The black label or the blue is probably the more expensive one.
Yeah, like way more expensive.
Well, I can already say you've skipped a lot in between.
Yeah, you skip the green, the platinum, the
Green,
label, double black.
It's kind of
The ones I've seen
Platinum's
going
not
to
around
parties
anymore.
and going to events and festivals, that I've been to, it's always been the red, the black, or the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're very popular, but I mean the price difference is extraordinary. Now, I like the red label, Jean, and I think it's worth paying the $35, $36 for the handle. In my opinion, it's worth it because you're getting a lot and it's enjoyable. So, all right, go ahead, shake it. It's enjoyable and it has some smoky qualities.
Right. And you're right. It is. And I think that maybe that's maybe a reason why people buy this because of the price point.
But yeah, it's the number one selling Scotch whiskey in the world. Now, when I drink Johnny Walker Red, am I amazed? I'm not amazed.
Yeah.
But I'm not amazed when I drink Budweiser, but I can understand why Budweiser is the best selling beer in the world.
$1.75.
Right.
Huh?
$63.
Yeah. I like
that
the
Yeah, that's not a bad price.
I like the Johnny and Peach. Some of the cocktails that they put out that you can make with this brand of Scotch.
Yeah.
The Johnny and Ginger, obviously ginger ale and Johnny Walker. Again, and he goes of drying the fermentation, the malting of it, and the dry fermentation. But it's a good flavor. Again, the smokiness, everything. So yeah, I'm going to add a couple of two cubes of ice, and let's see what changes in this. I know people don't like Scotch with ice. Some people do. I do. It's just like with bourbon, a little ice in it. It may enhance the flavor even more. So
that's the green label at the $7.50, and it's coming in at $63.99.
So
that's right.
Do that. I'll have
It's worth every penny.
The green
was
has
when it was $49.99, but
yeah.
So you and I, Jean, you and I, when we get together, we're going to have to drink some Johnny Walker Red Label.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let me add some ice, and on to you, Robert.
I know one thing: the ice will make it colder.
okay.
Of course it does. So.
On the nose, I get those little spice cakes. Like banana bread and pumpkin bread and stuff like that. But they make spice cakes, but it's in that same little loaf shape, spice bread, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I get that on the nose very easily. I get the raisins. I get the nutmeg and the baking spices that come with that. That comes through on the nose, along with the green apples. I get a very fresh, crisp green apple. And that dominates the nose. But to the palate is a transitional difference. palate, I still get the spice cake, but I get this mineralized note. Like when you stuck a penny in your mouth or whatever when you was a kid, any of that minerality taste you used to get, I did it anyway as a kid.
Yeah.
Put pennies, that got sucked.
So you get kind of like a
quarters. I had all kinds of.
You get a metallic taste off of it. You think that's from the cask?
Nope. Yeah, it comes. It's common. You really get it with the old. Started with the P.
It's got to be from cask.
Yeah. No. Well, it's a still. It can also come out of still. It's a distillate note. There's a few distilleries that produce that metallic taste in their scotches, and you get that. So whatever. It's like 2 or 3 distilleries. I'd have to look them up off the top of my head right now. One starts with the P. For the lack of me, I can't think of the name of it, but I just know the first letter is P. Anyway, but it has a metallic note to it, and that can also be coming from the grain whiskey, because grain whiskeys will give that off too a lot of times.
Well, Robert, isn't a copper still quite predominant in production of Scotch whiskeys?
Yes.
So that would explain why you're getting some of that. I mean, you did mention.
Well, not all stills are made. There's grades of copper you can get. There's time spent in reflux chambers. There's a lot of things that can affect the interaction between the copper and the whiskey that will transfer a subtle amount of that metallic taste.
What is a reflux chamber? I never heard that term before.
It goes up into the neck on your still. Once it goes up into the neck on your still, it'll come over top of cotton. Sometimes they call them thump kegs if you're going to make it for like making
so for the better sensor thing, it's just another part of the still.
Yeah, it flows into that reflux chamber or thump keg or whatever else you want to call that. I have several names they've referred to it as. And in there, once the steam builds up enough heat in there, what flows in there, the steam does, then it basically does another distillation. They call it a half a distillation. Macallan uses it, for instance. It adds like 2.5 times distilled on some things you'll see, or 1.5 times distilled, whatever. But you'll see it on certain things. I'm not saying this is what gives it. I just, the more time it's spent in contact with the copper, if they go a little further into their faints, that will give it a metallic taste. If their cuts are a little deeper into the faints, start to borderline onto that. So there's different ways that different stills that can produce that, or ways of making it that produces that kind of effect. Nonetheless, it has a minerality note to it.
So is that common in copper stills? All these different parts?
No, it's not common in copper stills. I mean,
okay.
It's just some give it, some don't. I mean, there's not a standard still everybody uses. There's only 2 or 3 companies that make them. But if you use your still too long, stills have a life span. They will thin out as the interaction over time. Will thin out. They have to replace.
I hear the same thing about plastic bottles too. They have a life span.
Right. I agree with you on plastic. I don't like whiskey out of plastic bottles. I won't. If I can avoid that, I do. I totally understand that,
but that's very hard, Robert and Dave. That's very hard. A lot of these companies are looking at the bottom line and they're just saying, "Hey, put it in plastic," and
they do what they want to. They just won't sell it to me.
Just don't buy it. You buy something else.
That's right.
Power people.
Solvents versus plastics is not. You can't tell me it doesn't break down over time. It just,
absolutely breaks down.
Right.
So you go to the gas station, they don't want you to put gas in a milk jug because that jug is designed for milk, not for gasoline.
Anyway, and it does have a long finish. I will give them that on it.
Oh my goodness.
And if you ever did that when you were a kid, you put that jug on the side for a couple of weeks, it would just melt.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they used to slapping gas out Dad's truck. I put anything I could get. One time I tried a styrofoam cup. That was a big mistake.
That was a disaster, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably melted.
Well, when you're 6 or 7 years old and you're wanting gas for your mini bike, you don't really care. Yeah. You don't think about such things until it's melting in front of you and you're going, what?
True.
There is a certain bitterness to it too. It's a mild bitterness, but there's a certain bitterness that comes with this. This is not a whiskey I think that a newbie would like to try. If you're new to the Scotch blends, you won't like this. This will put you off. But if you got some sort of palate that's been refined for a while, it offers a nice interlude in the other side of the Scotch.
I often recommend if somebody wants to try a blend of whiskey, just go with Glenlivet.
Glenlivet 12, Glenmorangie 10, Glen
It's the
Farkless 12.
Glenlivet.
Glen Farkless 12 is a good one because it's not very expensive still.
Yeah, but Glenlivet itself is more readily available to just about every.
This is true.
That's why I recommend that one.
What's the other?
It finishes with just a light. It's not green apple no more. It's just a light, fruity apple pear note, and that's just right now. That's what's sitting on the back of my tongue.
Now
That's
the
the
two
finish on it.
guys, the two blended scotches that begins with letter G, Grant, and the other one is Glenlivet, inexpensive ones.
Glenlivet is
Glenlivet's a single malt.
a single malt.
Okay, Glenfiddich is
Glenfiddich is
Single malt.
Glenlivet with an L, not an F.
was that?
Glenfiddich and Glenlivet are single malts. They're
Okay,
not
Grant's is a blended.
Grant's is
blends.
blended.
Although Glenfiddich and Glenlivet are used in blends, but they're not blends.
Like I said, and I know I've had Cuddy, I've had Clan McGregor.
Those are blended.
You know,
There's a reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer Isle of Fire here. He says, I suppose that is probably why copper is used to make pipes that transport drinking water. There's grades of copper. Water is in itself a solvent, but it's a long-term version of a solvent. In other words, it has very little effect on copper. 1,000 years from now, it's going to affect it. But in the immediate time frame of our lifetimes, it's not going to have much effect. But the higher you put alcohol into copper, the more it does affect. Because when they make Moscow mules in those copper cups, you'll notice the inside of those copper cups are not copper. They're usually generally aluminum or anodized aluminum. The outside will be copper. Now, there may be a few that use copper cups, but most of them, and I used to have one on my table, but I do not anymore, they'll have an aluminum. Look, there it is. You see what I'm talking about. You see, it's copper here on the outside, how it looks. Aluminum on the inside. So really, it's a copper-plated aluminum cup. But
That makes sense. Okay.
there's an interaction that occurs. Don't know why. It's like drinking out of leaded glass. How much fear do you have? I don't have much fear. I'll drink out of leaded glass. It doesn't bother me. I do say it puts a certain amount of lead in you by your alcohol, being a solvent, taking microparticles of lead. It's the same thing when they do with copper, and copper can be poisonous if it's absorbed. Too much copper is absorbed into your system.
Yeah. No
At
thanks.
one time. It's not a buildup. Copper will process through your system. It's not like lead that sticks into your system and stays.
Yeah. I'll pass on both, honestly. All right. Now, as far as scores, I'll just show y'all one more thing real fast, and then we'll go into the scores. Here's a thing you can look up when you get the time. Here's a website you can look up. It's Diageo Bar Academy, and they go into Johnny Walker, and there's a section. It's all deep into Johnny Walker. You got to have a lot of time to read, but it talks about how they make it and all the stuff they blend into it. And then there's a video you can watch, and then there's a chapter you can read called The Art of Blending. There's a portfolio section, there's cocktail section, and there's interesting facts. And so you would have to have a lot of time to read this, but you could learn. The whole purpose of this website is to learn how whiskey is made and how it can factor into bartending. And actually, bartenders can sign up and pay money to go to this school, but most people wouldn't do that. All right. Anyway, as far as scores for me, I'm not going to pretend like King Robert II is some kind of amazing product, but I like it. I will. I'm not going to pretend like I don't like it either. I'm not going to say that. I like it. I'm going to give it a B plus. So I think 88 out of 100 is fair for me, but that's my scale. Anything below 60, you cannot drink it. If it's below 60, it might kill you if you drink it.
Just like that WD, right? The Winn-Dixie brand, right?
The WD is not that bad because you can drink it. It's just not a good drink. It's even a C minus, but it's like you drink it and you think, why would you make this? Like, why would you make this product? And the WD is a good reference point because people will say Johnny Walker Red is bad. I would say you don't know bad. You don't know bad. You need to go to your local Winn-Dixie and buy their blended scotch. Then you're going to find out more about that. All right, so I'm going to say B plus, but that's me. Maybe I'm easy to please, and I guess I am. But that's it. As far as promos, I got the final brandy taste challenge for 2024 coming up tomorrow. I'm going to go up against the Ukrainian brandy. I don't think this is going to be able to compete with the Ukrainian brandy, but we'll find out at dawn. All right. Friday, we've got Fandango Friday, and Sunday we've got Stout Sunday. I have my stout ready to roll, baby. All right.
I have to get mine this weekend. All right, Dave.
Check to see if everyone's okay. All right, so I did the Johnny Walker High Rye. It's pretty good. I drank it all. I'm not going to drink anymore. I have work tomorrow. I'm pretty tired. This was surprisingly good on a rye mixed whiskey. I don't know. If I had to give it a score, I'd give it like a B to like a B minus. It's okay, but it's missing the qualities in Johnny Walker that I expect to get. I should be able to get like some peaty mossiness a little bit, a little earthy tone. All that's kind of washed out with the rye. And then some of the things that they say is you should taste on this, I'm not tasting. Sweet wood spice. I mean, there's some wood to it. I don't know if it's sweet wood. I mean, I have no idea. I don't even know what sweet wood they're talking about. And then fresh cut fruit. What kind of fruit are they talking about? Why not just say on this, what kind of fruit you should expect? Like Johnny Walker Green Label. You should have like an apple note on that. I know that. I've had it before. It's delicious whiskey. This is very rye. Like I said, it's rye forward. And it's just kind of mellowed out, like what you'd get from a fine distilled Scotch whiskey. So the Scotchiness is good, but I just believe that the rye is overriding the Scotch and just giving us a whole different profile. You would have to appreciate how that does with the mixing of Johnny Walker. I just don't like how it's overpowered things. I often say, when you're gonna like marry things together, make sure you don't totally knock out the base. And I feel like the base has been knocked down in this to just like a minimum, and that's overpowered by rye.
So how do you score it? What number actually?
81. I'll give it an 81. 81.
B minus. Oh man.
Yeah. Man, all you want.
Oh man. Well, maybe well, wait a minute. Maybe that's why certain people had it discounted, but
I don't know, man.
They usually don't discount stuff if it's a hot item, right?
I don't know. This to me, this is one and done.
Okay. Now, any promos?
It's not like the Fire. I went back and got a couple more bottles of Fire and a couple more bottles of Fire.
I've tried it once. I tried it over at Barton Scotch once.
They mixed in Koele in it, and Koele's a
Oh, the fire and ice, yeah.
Colila.
Just
Real.
you say
Yeah.
you say Koele, I say Koele, just like tomato. So yeah, I like that one. It's really good. I give that one an A. But this one, I don't know, man.
Well, you know how it is in this day and age. Everybody's throwing something out there. So, any promos?
It's trying to not really.
All
I'm
right.
tired. I'm gonna call it tonight, man.
Have a good night's sleep and then enjoy work tomorrow as much as you're able to.
Oh, definitely, man. Work's always good. It's good to get out and work. It's good to get out, and use your brain and just get out there and be with your fellow man and help them out.
104 outside here.
Oh, nice.
All right, gentlemen.
Good night.
We hit a high of 108 today.
It felt like that here in the ATL area. Just watching.
We got 94 heat index and 108.
Yeah,
94.
Hey, look, at least we're having a little summer.
Oh,
Water.
he hates liquor in plastic containers. That's his opinion.
Yeah. So
It's
all right, guys.
Me too.
It's a very strong word. It's a preference.
Robert, is that accurate? You hate liquor in plastic containers?
Yep.
There you have it.
I will double that with him.
I will go out of the way of buying in plastic.
All right,
I say that, but I will buy.
I'm listening.
Sean is asking. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's Sean's turn.
No. The heat. I'm talking about the heat. And
Oh, yeah.
I had today very humid. We're supposed to get a lot of rain, but the rain came through. But the humidity's retched up so much today. I said it felt like it was 93, but it felt like the heat made it feel like 100. And I went through so much bottles of water today at work. It was just crazy. And I still got a couple of bottles here.
John, watch it, man. Y'all got some tropical coming y'all's way.
In Georgia, yeah.
It's going to go right up the west coast of Florida.
Well, my lady friend Sabrina's coming. We're going up next, not this week, but the following week, and the weekend of the 16th and 17th. We're going to Savannah for her birthday, and I'm hoping the weather will cooperate, up there. So
Hope so for you.
So hope it does. So, all right, guys. So I just added a little ice to the JW Red Label, and I would say a little more of the cinnamon I'm getting now from this. And they're showing. I'm watching the swimming. Leon Marchand won the final.
2 golds today.
Gold, yeah. The Olympics have been fun. I've been very entertained by these games, and coming from what we went through with COVID. But anyway, the cinnamon.
Friday, I got to roll.
Good night.
All right, bye, Dave.
Right.
See you later. Peace.
Bye, John. Bye, Robert.
Bye.
So the
Good night.
cinnamon comes out in this, and you still got the smoky finish, but also now I'm getting a little of that citrus fruitness that it talks about in this. So, and it's not bad. So Johnny Walker Red Label, I give it a 91 out of 100.
91. Okay.
Yeah, and it's reasonably priced too for people. It's not a bad price.
Would you buy a handle for $36?
Yeah, that's a good price. Yeah, I'm not a big Scotch guy, but yeah, that would be something to have when people come over. Like my brother. Hey, you want to talk about life? Here, I'll pour you a drink. But more likely probably be some bourbon.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Than a blended Scotch. So, but yeah, So this is pretty good. As far as promos, I still got that hazy beer to review from Wicked Weed. I'll probably do it tomorrow. But outside of that, I really don't have anything else I bought. I need to do some shopping. See what's out there in the beer world right now. I'm just a little, It's kind of my thoughts on it. But I will be looking, and I have, of course, I have what I have for Fandango Friday coming up. It's a Scotch Manhattan, I believe it is. I got the bottle over here. I'll show you real quick what it is. It's from our friends at not on rocks, bottle and something. Hold on, I'll show you what I got. It's a mixed cocktail, and yeah, batch and bottle.
Oh yeah, I see that a lot. I see that quite often.
This is the Glenfiddich Scotch Manhattan. That's what I'll be bringing on Friday.
Glenfiddich Scotch Manhattan. I see that. I do see that quite a bit.
I've seen it. Yep.
I'm going to bring that on Friday for Fandango Friday, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and I'll have a stout for Stout Sunday or porter. Bring your stouts or porter. 10:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. Pacific, and then next Wednesday, Joker's Wild, and that is it.
Joker's Wild. Bring whatever you want.
And that's it. Thanks, guys.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining, and we appreciate now the score for this very unusual. I say unusual to me. I mean, it might be normal for other areas.
I doubt it. It's not very common. That's the first time I'd seen it. That's why I bought it in the state of Kansas. I think I've seen it since then. When I bought the 15, they had a bottle of that up in Kansas City, but I didn't buy it because obviously I already had this one. But I don't see it very often, no. I've never seen it in my area around here. Anyway, I'm off getting off topic. I searched for a honey note in this because it says it's got honey note. There's a sweetness, but that's not something I would say was honey. That sweetness does come through in it. There's still that little bit of bitterness and maybe like a bitter nut. Every once in a while you get a pecan that's just turning slightly bitter when you eat a pecan. Something along those lines, like a slightly bitter nut. You'll get that. Mostly it stays with the spices. And it does finish though with a little light fruitiness. But it's so in the back that you don't notice it till you sit into the finishness itself. Into the finish itself. Green apples and pears to me. Score-wise, I'm gonna give it an 85 for a blend. I'm not going to go too high, too low. I will say this: I give it an 85 with the caveat that this is not something that a lot of people are going to like if they've not drank. You need to be familiar a couple of 3 under your belt with a lot of different whiskeys for it.
Do you think I would like it?
I cannot say that. That's an impossible thing to say. Everybody's tastes, everybody's palates are different. You know, it just depends, and it totally depends. You know, if you see it and sell in your super little store down there, and for like 10, 15, $20, I'd pull the trigger on it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I know. I can find it. We get some crazy stuff like that Ben Riach Curiositas for $9.99. That was off the chain crazy.
Yeah. You see something like that, of course, I would buy it. I personally don't think I would spend $45, $15 on it again ever. Am I glad I've tried it? And will I drink it? Yeah, I'll try it and drink it. It's just not going to be, it's not undrinkable. It's a little bit different than your Johnny Walker Reds, Blacks, Grants, whatever. Your normal blended scotches, your Bells, your what's that other one? Black and White. I mean, there's several.
Yeah, Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine, for instance. Actually, this is better than Valentine. Valentine is not bad. It's just so freaking bland. It's just. But I wouldn't say it was bland. Famous Grouse.
Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah, you'd be better starting off with something like that. Monkey Shoulder is a blended malt. It's a little different.
Blended malt. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a blended whiskey like this is. Again, 85. I'll caveat it with it's something that you. What's going on there? Something I would cautiously approach.
Yeah.
And
now I was looking at some old advertisements from the 1950s for Johnny Walker Red Label.
Let me see.
Yeah, and funny thing about it, if you notice a lot of these old advertisements from the 50s and 60s, the proof is always a lot higher. Like now, Johnny Walker Red Label is 80 proof, but back in those days, it was 86.8 proof.
Ah.
Yeah, they really dropped the alcohol level.
Yeah, that's pretty common on a lot of those older ones versus newer ones like that. Johnny Walker Red is, if you go to, I think it's Ralph, he did something where he had, I don't remember, he had one old blended whiskey and he had bought at an auction that was out of the, I'm guessing 70s, if I recall, 70s or 80s, and he tested it against a newer one that he purchased. And there's decided differences between them. Now, do you lay that on time spent in bottles versus time spent in or is the whole makeup of it different? Because there is a certain amount of, if the bottle's not taken care of, there is a certain amount of degradation that will take place. But in his case, he liked it better, which means you don't think it was probably as degraded. It was higher alcohol content. So I know it's not necessarily an apples to apples thing. It's just it's different.
Yeah,
I'm detracting myself.
that's all right. I mean, it is different, 86.8 versus 80. But
have a lot more flavor with that 86.
And then look, they have a cork. It's a real cork instead of a screw cap.
I have seen those old bottles like that. And
really?
Empty, but I've seen the bottle.
So this is probably from about 1961 or something like that. And it's funny because it says imported by Canada Dry Ginger Ale Company.
Yeah.
They got bought out themselves, so that's funny.
Now, I'm going to address something else real quick. Even though I dislike plastics, a lot of these 50 milliliters like I use for my mini Mondays I do now, they are unfortunately plastic bottles. I don't have much of a choice in those if I want to do that sort of thing. But there's such a high turnover generally in these bottles that you're not going to, they don't sit very long. This one leaked on me. The lid was a little loose. I got a baggie full of them, like about 5 or 10 at a time.
So they're probably all right for short term.
Yeah, to me, that's what I think anyway. For me, am I blurry, or is it just
it's a little blurry? But your internet might be kind of wonky right now. It's a little blurry, but don't worry about it. That happens. When I had my old computer, it was always blurry. All right. Anyway, well, Jean and David and Whiskey Scout, thanks for joining. We, I find it strange, because Claude Diamond wanted to do blended Scotch, but he didn't show up for it, and he didn't show up, I don't think, for single malt either. But anyway, he had the idea, so I give him credit. As far as coming up, like I said, we got Joker's Law Wednesday next Wednesday. You can bring anything you want: beer, wine, liquor, iced tea, soda pop. Most people probably bring beer. Sunday is Stout Sunday. Any porter or stout porter. Now, here's some. You want to hear what topics are coming up later in the month in August?
Sure. If I can start looking for some of these.
All right. Here's some topics. August 14th, warm weather beer. Any beer that would be good for warm weather.
A sour. Could be a sour.
Well, you got to determine. You have to determine what you think would be a good beer for warm weather. I cannot dictate that. And then August 21st is Pacifico beer, Pacifico lager, Pacifico Clara, from Mexico, Pacifico. That's a good warm weather beer. Pacifico Pilsner style beer.
It was a Pilsner. Okay, I thought it was just an adjunct lager.
No, they claim it's a Pilsner. It really does have the bitterness of a Pilsner, but I found the big tall can. It was out of date. So I bought the 12 pack, which was a good price. Winn-Dixie did have a good discount. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. Any last comments, folks?
No. I released a Bibb and Tucker bourbon review today, so it's on the website if y'all want to watch it. That's about it for me.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody joining, and I don't want anybody to think that they can't join. Anybody can join. If you're interested in these products and you would like to present something, feel free to join. I mean, you're always welcome. All right. Well, y'all take care, and see y'all soon. And everybody have a good midweek night.
Enjoy the week.
Yep.
New month is upon us. Yes, here we are.
Yep. See y'all next month.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, North America. Bye, bye, world.